April covered a wide mix of government fleet stories from electric refuse trucks to cost analysis and AI. For this month's roundup, I'm looking at a few government fleet stories from April that show where public fleets are putting their attention right now. We'll start in Long Beach, California, where the city debuted its first two all-electric refuse trucks as part of a pilot program. Long Beach is testing the trucks as it looks at possible shifts away from compressed natural gas-powered refuse vehicles. And the city also has an electric side loader on order that is expected to arrive in September of this year. Refuse gives the pilot some weight, and these are not light-duty vehicles with predictable use. Garbage trucks are heavy, routes are stop and go, and missed service gets noticed quickly. Long Beach's refuse fleet includes 89 trucks serving nearly 120,000 homes each week. The city plans to use telematics data to compare the electric trucks with its current CNG units and see how they handle different routes, including hills, heavier loads, more stops, and longer distance from the hub. The city is also planning around charging. Long Beach currently has 2 Level 3 chargers at the campus where the new trucks are housed, with 10 more planned this summer and another 16 planned for 2027. The vehicle itself is only part of the decision. The fleet also has to know where the truck will charge, whether the facility can support the demand, and whether the timing works with daily operations. Long Beach is also looking further ahead, with city officials saying the full refuse fleet could be replaced with EVs by about 2034, depending on the life cycles of the current CNG units. The first order of electric trucks is expected to enter service in 2029. EVs also came up in New York City, where the city surpassed 1,000 electric vehicles in its police fleet. According to the city, that makes it the largest EV law enforcement fleet in North America. While these two stories are very different use cases, this is why electrification planning looks different from one fleet to another. For some agencies, EVs are still being tested in specific applications. For others, they are already part of a daily operation. Another April story focused on leadership in Madison, Wisconsin, where Rachel Darken was named Fleet Service Superintendent. She has served as interim assistant superintendent for the past 18 months and has held several roles within Madison's fleet division since 2019. Her work has included fleet optimization, electrification, and workforce development. Her work with the Fleet Tech Apprenticeship Program is especially relevant as public fleets continue dealing with technician recruitment and retention. The program is designed to create opportunities for people from non-traditional backgrounds and help build the next generation of fleet techs. Vehicles and equipment are becoming more complex, but the need for qualified technicians has not slowed down. Fleets need people who can work on conventional vehicles, alternative fuel vehicles, hybrids, EVs, and the technology connected to all of them. Lynchburg, Virginia also announced a new fleet leader in April, with Ken Lett taking over as Director of Fleet Services. Lett brings more than 20 years of public sector fleet experience to the role, including his time in Alexandria, Virginia, where he worked in several fleet leadership positions and oversaw long-range fleet planning, as well as a vehicle replacement program of more than $60 million across a fleet of more than 1,300 assets. He also worked on EV adoption, motor pool utilization, telematics, and fuel monitoring systems. As he starts in Lynchburg, Lett said his first priority is to listen and assess the current operation, the team, and the needs of the department's fleet services supports. From there, his focus will include reliability, financial visibility, lifecycle planning, team development, and trust with stakeholders. Those priorities point to a wider role fleet leaders are taking on. The job is still about keeping vehicles available and safe, but it also involves planning, communication, data, staff development, and stronger coordination with the departments of fleet support. We also covered the 2026 Public Sector Fleet Manager of the Year finalists in April. This year's finalists are Eric Winterset from Long Beach, Ross Jackson Jr. from Fayetteville, and Jeff Shepard from Tallahassee. The winner will be announced during the honor celebration at GFX, which is scheduled for June 9th through the 12th in Long Beach. The award looks at planning, maintenance, technology implementation, customer service, and fuel management, among others, and that range reflects how much the fleet manager role has expanded. Fleet leaders still have to manage maintenance and repairs, but they're also responsible for replacement plans, new technology, sustainability goals, and budget decisions, among many others. April also brought a more numbers-driven story on fleet cost analysis. The piece focused on total cost of ownership, cost per mile, and preventive maintenance, along with better data visibility. Those are familiar terms, but they affect real decisions, including whether a fleet keeps a vehicle, replaces it, repairs it, or has a strong case for funding. A vehicle can look affordable if the purchase price is the only thing being considered, but once fuel, maintenance, downtime, and all those other things come into the picture, it can change. That is especially true in government, where fleets often keep vehicles longer because of funding cycles. Holding onto an asset can look like the cheaper option, but if repairs are becoming more frequent and downtime is affecting service, the fleet needs the data to show what the decision is really costing. Cost per mile can help with that, so can centralized maintenance data, accurate fuel tracking, and clear replacement criteria. The goal is not to bury people in numbers, but to give fleet leaders a stronger way to explain what is happening with their assets and what needs to happen next. Our AI story fits into that same conversation about data. A recent report found that over 50% of respondents are researching or piloting AI tools, while a much smaller number reported that broad use. Half of respondents cited accuracy and reliability concerns as a main barrier to adoption. And that gap is telling because fleets are interested in AI and many are already testing it, but most are not ready to rely on it across the operation. For public fleets, that caution makes sense. A bad recommendation can affect maintenance, purchasing, safety, and fleet managers need tools that can help them work through large amounts of data, but they also need the confidence that the information is accurate. The report also pointed to the pressure fleets are already under, including rising costs, regulations, and emissions mandates, and parts and vehicle availability. So AI is not being discussed in isolation. It's coming up while fleets are already trying to manage older vehicles and everything else. But connecting back to cost analysis, AI may eventually help fleets identify patterns faster while flagging maintenance risk earlier or making better use of the data they already collect. But the larger issue is still the same. Fleets need more visibility into their assets so that they can make decisions before problems become more expensive. And that's a snapshot of April. We have many more stories, but I hope you'll head over to governmentfleet.com to check them out. We'll see you next month.